This meeting will come to order. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Capone.
Present.
Counsel Della Sola. Counsel DeFlorio. Counsel Hanlon. Counsel Matusky. Counsel McKinnon.
Here.
Counsel McLaughlin. Counsel Napolitano. Counsel Sani. Counsel Simonelli.
Here.
Counsel DePiero.
Present.
Counsel Napolitano. We have 8 members present, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. We already saluted the flag. Is there a motion to open public participation? Motion made, Counsel Hanlon? Motion made and seconded to open public participation. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Public participation is now open. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the City Council for any purpose? Yes, sir.
There you go, sir.
Can you please state your name, sir?
Norman Solari, 23 Winthrop Road in Everett. I'm here to speak of my adventures with RCN. I don't know if anybody here knows it or not, but I signed up for RCN at the beginning of the month. And I specifically asked the girl, because my rates were up on the other one, if the municipal channels were included. She said yes. Okay, the guy came the next day, hooked it up, fine. But that night when I went to put on Channel 3 or 22, nada. I scratched my head, looked at the thing and said, do this, do that. Couldn't get anywhere. Called customer service. For 3/4 of an hour, we went at it. She must have thought I was a dunce. I did this, did that, did the other thing, killed it, croaked it, did everything, nothing happened. So I asked if she'd please send somebody out. Next day, guy comes up, he takes a look at it, turns, gets on the phone. That's not going to be available for another 2 months. I said, what do you mean? They told me, I said, yeah, you're going to get it, but it's not here yet. I says, oh, God. Next day, I called the mayor's office, and they told me the same thing. So I called Council Matusky. I said, wait, when they were before you one night, I remember you asking them, is the municipal channels there? And they told you yes. Was I crazy? He said, no, they told me that. Well, he says, I'll look into it. I don't know who called who, but the next day I get the chief engineer calls me. He says, well, he says, you're going to get them, but the problem is we're coming from the north down, and we haven't hit City Hall yet. When we hit City Hall, you're going to get it. Fine. I says, I thought, I says, here's an outfit whose business is communications. And they don't talk to each other. The left hand don't know what the right hand's doing. The salesman don't know. What the hell is going on here? Okay. I'll wait. Since then, I get a flyer every week telling me, you know, the deals. Then the other day, 2 men come to the door from RCN. I said, oh boy, they're going to do something. No, they're salesmen. They don't even know I got it. I says, wonderful. I says, what the hell is going on again? So today, in my foolishness, I turned on Channel 3. And what do I get? I get Humphrey Bogart, the movie from 1932 or something. I don't know what's going on. So, am I the only one in the city that watches this channel? Am I cuckoo or what? I enjoy it. My wife watches some of the things, and I watch school committee, but none of it's there now. So that's my story. And, one other thing while I'm at it. While I get this off my bucket list, the communications in here are not the greatest, especially the people at this, sit at this desk. When I watch it at home, it's difficult at best to get what they're saying.
The sound.
I don't know if Comcast does that, it's their equipment or what. But that's my story, and thank you for listening to my rant.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a good night. Anyone else in the audience would like to address the city council? That portion of the meeting is now closed.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Close public participation. All those in favor? Ayes have it.
Mr. President, can we,
Motion made and seconded to suspend the rules. Take item number 2. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk, please read item number 2.
Item number 2 is communication order from His Honor the Mayor. Dear honorable members, I hereby submit for your approval an order appointing the following as patrolmen to the City of Everett's Police Department: Charles Aponte, Richard Martinetti, Santiago Flores, Eric Williamson, and Jillian Donnelly. Thank you for your favorable consideration of this matter. Respectfully submitted, Carlo Di Maria, Jr., Mayor.
Motion made and seconded for favorable action. Mr. Clerk?
Counsel Capone.
Yes.
Counsel Della Sola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio. Counsel Hanlon.
Yes.
Counsel Matusky.
Yes.
Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counsel McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counsel Napolitano.
Yes.
Counsel Sani.
Yes.
Counsel Simonelli.
Yes.
Counsel DePiero.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
Congratulations. Been confirmed.
Yeah, come forward.
If you'd all come forward so we can take a group photo, please.
Actually, take the oath.
Well, sworn in first, I apologize.
Discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as a police officer for the City of Everett, according to the best of my abilities and understanding, agreeably to the rules, regulations, ordinances, and charter of the City of Everett. So help me God. I do solemnly swear to bear true faith and allegiance to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, support the laws of the Constitution of the Commonwealth. So help me God. I do solemnly swear to bear true faith and allegiance to the United States of America, support the Constitution of the United States. So help me God.
Chairman, can we request a 5-minute recess? Make a motion for 5-minute recess?
Motion made and seconded for a 5-minute recess. All those in favor? Opposed? 5-minute recess. Yeah, and the families of the officers can approach to take closer photos if they'd like.
Get me, don't forget it, just get me. Oh, they need a wide angle lens here.
Not gonna get us on.
They're not on it.
There's no way.
Gotta go in the front.
Really? So I'm all set. She pulls me over. I'll talk to her before she leaves.
No.
Get close.
Let's go tighter.
This meeting will now come back to order.
Mr. President,
Yes,
move
Counselor.
we suspend the rules and take item number 10.
Motion made to take item number 10. Is there a second? Second. Motion made and seconded to take item number 10 from the calendar. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 10, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 10, resolution sponsored by Council Stephen Simonelli regarding the update this meeting on the repair of the Mount Washington Street retaining wall.
Mr. Alfieri?
Oh, yeah.
Councilor Simonelli?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to get an update on the retaining wall. Just basically, if you give an overview of the status of the project, if it's complete, if not, what punch list items are yet to be completed. Did the project come in, at cost, above cost? Is there a warranty on the project? And what will the wall do to help the residents of that area? Just a couple questions.
As of this moment, the project is complete. We just last 2 weeks we installed a section of the fence which was on number 33 Rosedale Street. We have a walkthrough which is scheduled for Thursday. In terms of warranty on that wall, we have warranty for the fence, and the engineers had actually said that wall will stand till maybe 10, 20 years. But it's very hard to give an accurate assessment on how much, But according to what when I went out there, and I felt it was done properly, very, very good, There were a few changes that came in due to, things that we never expected that would happen with the wall. But the only issues that neighbors complaining stuccoing the wall inside the property in order to make it, look aesthetics-wise, to make it look good. That was the only problem. But most of the people were actually satisfied. We have the screen fence. Sometimes it's moved by wind, due to the fact that the engineer stated that if you put slats in the fence, that might make the fence to yield, and what we have right now, we felt we're just going to see how it goes. Maybe in future we can change that if the screen is not suitable for that condition, So I think that's the report we have. But we still have some punch list that we need to do this Thursday because there's a walkthrough on it.
Can you elaborate a little bit on those punch list items?
The punch list items right now, it's this. My own assessment was just the stuccoing the wall in the property. The walkthrough will be on Thursday, and that's when we would come up with whatever punch list that it's needed. But as of this moment, I think the job is complete.
Okay. And then just as far as the aesthetic issues you brought up, have they been completed to the residents?
It wasn't. It wasn't part of the specs. It's just the fact that one of the residents complained of stuccoing the wall.
Okay. Yeah, no further questions.
Councilor McLaughlin?
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Mr. Julius. Julius, who is the overseer or the project manager of this project?
Bill, or we also have the engineers from Bayside Engineers.
So Bayside Engineering oversaw the project?
Yes.
Okay. What was the cost because I had submitted these questions previously to Bill, and now I'm going to reiterate with the questions I had asked previously. What was the amount in change orders total? Because Bill said that they were still calculating them last time he'd come, so he didn't have a final calculation of change orders.
I believe there were maybe 4 or 5 change orders on the job.
Do we know how much in total value?
It's very difficult for me to give you the assessment on how much it is, But I can tell you, initially we started with within the $200,000.
How much?
About $269,000 we started with.
$269,000. And what are we up to today, currently, Julius, on this project?
Sorry, I didn't bring the figures here.
Okay, so some of these questions might be able to. I know you're newer to this, right? This project, but I had asked them previously. Who did you or Bill approve the 4 or 5 change orders?
Yeah, it was on the bill. It was approved. Yes.
So Bill approved the
yes
the change orders. Okay. And is there a 1-year warranty on all construction, municipality 1-year warranty?
This warranty on construction, depending on what you put in the language. So
Is there a 1-year warranty on this contract? Do we
on
know?
this contract? I don't recall, but I think there's a warranty on it. You know. But again, when you say warranty, it's the wall. It's depending on how it's built. So I did see the wall myself. It's done properly. But the only issue you might have might be in case something comes up. You might would probably be the fencing, in case there's a wind failure on it. That's all. But in terms of the way it was built, I would think it would hold for a while. But there should be a warranty on it, But you can, I don't know if you can hold the guy for like 20 years or 30 years.
No, I think it's a 1-year warranty on all
On
municipality
all projects.
right?
Yeah, depending on what you put in the language.
Okay, so can you get that answer from me just
Sure.
in email format? And is there any retainage being held?
Yeah, there's still some retainage held, yes.
How much roughly?
I processed the last bill. I guess I just paid him about $26,000, and the retainage probably would be
5%,
less than
10%?
that, 5%. Probably I have more like $6,000.
Roughly 5% though?
Yes.
Okay. I do have some other questions that I'll ask you, not to tie this up, but I appreciate the answers tonight, Julius, as always, for a job well done by yourself. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
What's the pleasure on the piece of business, Councilor Simonelli? Oh, Mr. Alfieri, you're excused.
Refer back to sponsor.
Motion made and seconded to refer back to sponsor. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion has been, resolution has been referred back to sponsor. Thank you.
Item number 1 is an order sponsored by Council Anthony DePiero, President, to accept a donation of $2,000 from ExxonMobil Corporation into the Everett Police Department's K-9 account.
Favorable action, letter of thanks.
Second motion.
Motion made and seconded for favorable action and a letter of thanks be sent. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Capone.
Yes.
Councilor Della Sola.
Yes.
Councilor DeFlorio.
Yes.
Councilor Hanlon.
Yes.
Councilor Matusky.
Yes.
Councilor McKinnon.
Yes.
Councilor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Councilor Napolitano.
Yes.
Councilor Sani.
Yes.
Councilor Simonelli.
Yes.
Councilor DePiero.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
the order has passed.
Item number 3, Mr. President, is an order sponsored by Anthony DePiero as president to transfer $1,300,000 from budgetary fund balance into the school department account on the states through Chapter 70 funding formula. The school department is requesting $1.3 million from free cash to help offset the $5.3 million loss. And I believe an amendment is in order to stabilization from general to delete free cash and put in stabilization. So
Make an
even if
amendment
it-
to that.
Even if it's going
Delete.
to be removed, even if it's going to be referred somewhere, we should at least amend it.
So make a motion to remove the free cash and replace with stabilization
have a second?
fund?
General stabilization, yes.
And also, could we lay this over in 2 weeks and invite the school to come up and give a presentation?
Yeah.
On the motion, Council.
First, did we do the amendment?
No, it didn't amend.
Okay, favorable action on the amendment as read by the clerk, removing free cash and putting stabilization.
All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Opposed? It has been amended.
On the piece itself, Mr. President, I move that we suspend Rule 13 and refer this to Committee of the Whole.
Is there a second? Motion made and seconded to refer this piece to a committee of the whole meeting. Councilor McLaughlin on the motion.
Roll call vote on the motion, please.
Roll call?
On
Councilor
that-
Napolitano?
Excuse me, on that,
Councilor Napolitano has the floor, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, we knew that there was going to be money coming, a request from funds. And the one thing I don't want to do is delay this any longer than necessary. School department is already identified that it's short $5.3 million. This amount here just reflects barely 20% of what they're going to need, and we're more than halfway through the school year. Sending it to a committee of the whole to have a discussion when we're actually can have the same discussion as at our next meeting. You know, personally, I think it falls under emergency measures, but I'm not going to go down that road. There was a little, you know, if my colleagues don't think that's necessary. But I think that this would suffice because there really isn't, I don't see anything additional that we haven't already heard. And I would motion that we actually just hold this over to our next meeting because we can't really enact it tonight and address it at that time.
Councilor DeFlorio?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's what I meant. The next meeting, the school committee can come up. We have any questions, we can ask the question and just vote on it. Because this is important. Now, if we do it as a committee as a whole, which I understand, Council from Ward 1, that would mean the committee of a whole would have to be called at some point this week and then lay it over to the next meeting on, in March. So either way, it has to be voted on that night. So at that point, we might as well have the presentation and vote on it the same night.
Councilor Capone?
Thank you, Mr. President. It was my understanding that the school department was prepared to come up Thursday evening. If I could, through the clerk,
Yes.
is that accurate?
Yes, to have a presentation, they have a presentation.
So they have a presentation, so courtesy to them, I think we all understand.
So they're aware of it.
We're on the same page. It's not a surprise to them. My recommendation would be to have the committee of the whole. That way, if there are any questions that the councilors have, get it out of the way. You're not taking up time on a meeting evening and then just vote on it that night. So that's why I recommended committee of the whole.
Thank you. Councilor McLaughlin?
Mr. Chairman, if I could, I was not aware of a Thursday night presentation. I'm going to withdraw my motion.
Okay. Councilor McLaughlin?
Mr. President, thank you. I believe the only confusion might be here that these numbers are based off of the governor's budget. It's not based off of the Senate's hopefully amended budget. So the numbers here, we were looking at the governor's budget and not the Senate budget. Hopefully that is going to be coming out in a supplemental budget in the near future. So that's one question. That's really the only misconfusion here. But I also would support the idea that it goes to committee, but we have committees in place to deal with stuff like this. And the appropriate committee for that is Ways and Means. The reason we have committee structure is to deal with subject matters. I understand that a committee of the whole is important for certain subject matters, but this is a financial matter that belongs in a committee that has already been structured for that purpose, which is Ways and Means. That's why I asked for a roll call vote on committee of the whole. Thank you.
Councilor McKinnon?
Through you, Mr. President, thank you. We all know that they're gonna need this money and the funding. We need to hold it over, so I think that if they wanna send it to the committee of the whole, or they wanna send it into committee itself, either way, it would be fine by me, but we just know that they're gonna come before us and they're gonna state they need this funding, so, and we know that. I know that in talking to the senator on a couple of other issues that we were talking about, they're looking at possibly by the end of the month, which will be tomorrow, to come out with some type of funding sources and give us a projection of what they're looking at. So either way, I won't be here on Thursday. I'll be away, but if it goes Thursday, I would be voting favorably on this as well. Thank you.
Councilor Capone?
Thank you, Mr. President. Not to belabor the matter any longer than we have, but normally I would agree with my colleague that we do have committee structures in place and they do serve their function. Given, from time to time when you have larger issues, $1.3 million transfer is a pretty large issue. I'm sure every councilor in this chamber would want to weigh in on it. The difficulty of the committee structure is you don't have the entire membership. So that's why I recommend the committee of the whole, and that's why I would ask that, that my colleague defer. But I do think in general, if you have an issue that does speak to a committee, it should go. But in a situation like this, that's why I'm requesting the committee of the whole.
Councilor DeFlorio?
But I just want everybody to understand that we do have to have a quorum on Thursday, and I know some people have prior commitments. So that's the issue that I'm trying to bring up, that if you have the school administration come up here to give a presentation, and there's not a quorum. So in 2 weeks, we could have the same presentation. It's the same thing, regardless of whether we spend an hour here Thursday night, or we spend 5 hours here next Monday, it doesn't matter. You know, we have to spend the time, yes, to ask the question, to understand the presentation, and where a new budget is coming out at the end of the month, maybe we'll have a little more information in 2 weeks. So, yeah, the end of the month is tomorrow, but that's my opinion. It doesn't matter either way to me. I'll be here Thursday night if I have to be. It's not a problem. Thank you.
Call for the question?
So
call
roll
vote, Mr.
call
Clerk.
on whether or not, to refer to the committee of whole. If you vote yes, you're referring it to the committee on the whole. Hmm? I believe it's Thursday night.
Still,
Yeah.
on top of this?
Counsel Capone.
Yes.
Counsel Del Sola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counsel Hanlon.
Yes.
Counsel Matusky.
No.
Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counsel McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counsel Napolitano.
Yes.
Counsel Sani.
Yes.
Counsel Simonelli.
Yes.
Counsel DePiero.
Yes.
10 yeas, 1 nay, Mr. President.
Item has been referred to a committee of the whole. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 4 is a petition for a psychic fortune teller license renewal from Psychic Boutique of Everett at 1936 Revere Beach Parkway.
Second motion.
Everything in order, Mr. Clerk?
Yes.
Motion made and seconded for favorable action. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, it's a roll call. I apologize.
Counsel Capone.
Yes.
Counsel Del Sola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counsel Hanlon.
Yes.
Counsel Matusky. Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counsel McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counsel Napolitano.
Yes.
Counsel Sani.
Yes.
Counsel Simonelli.
Yes.
Counsel DePiero.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
it has passed. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 5, petition for a set-class motor dealer license renewal from Woodlawn Auto Sales at 3 Woodlawn Ave.
Mr. Chairman, favorable action, the papers in order.
Yes.
Motion made and seconded for favorable action. Please call the roll.
Mr. President, on that,
Counselor Capone?
if I may, through you to the clerk. I know that an issue was raised by a constituent with regard to that property, and I know that the clerk's office is taking a review there. Is everything?
Everything's fine. We went
Okay.
up there, made sure that they always have their doors closed. There is no body work going on
Okay.
there at all. There were no signs of painting or anything.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate your
Yep.
efforts. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Counsel Capone.
Yes.
Counsel Della Sola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio. Yes. Counsel Hanlon.
Yes.
Counsel Matusky. Yes. Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counsel McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counsel Napolitano.
Yes.
Counsel Sani.
Yes.
Counsel Simonelli.
Yes.
Counsel DePiero.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
it has passed. Next item, please.
Item number 6, communication from Director of Community Development, Tony Souza, with an update on the progress of the redesign of Everett Square.
Accept the communication placed on file.
Do we have a second?
Good, because I'm not.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to accept the communication and place on file. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Item number 7 is a resolution sponsored by Councilor Anthony DePiero regarding creation of opioid response team with a recommendation the mayor and city of Everett pursue mutual aid with other cities in our area for recovery coaches and other possible resources on the opioid crisis, with another recommendation to have the mayor's office and city council provide a letter of support to Paul Hammersley for a new recovery center in the city of Malden, with a final recommendation to grant further time.
Mr. President. Can
Councilman
we also
McKinnon.
take item number 19 as well, collectively?
Motion made and seconded to take item 19 collectively with item number 7. All
Yes.
those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Item number 19, resolution sponsored by Councilor John Lee McKinnon, may consider setting up a mutual aid agreement with surrounding communities for the purpose of having additional recovery coaches. This will increase the number of recovery coaches throughout our community, as well as the participating communities.
Councilor McKinnon.
Favorable action, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Could we have the chief of staff before us, please?
Please be brief, Counselor, as this is going to go to committee.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Actually, it was in committee already. It was already in committee. It's come out.
Good evening.
The reason why I took both these pieces, we had talked on in regards to this piece with a mutual aid agreement, as well as Mr. Hemsley having a letter going out to him of support for his collaborative work over in Malden. Can you speak on that?
Yes, we're in full support of both, and actually, the letter, Counselor, if it hasn't gone out on this evening's mail, will go out in tomorrow's mail.
Okay, so we have that letter, and it's going out for the support for Mr. Hemsley from Malden?
Yes.
All right, and where are we at on the mutual agreement? now?
I guess we would just have to collaborate in drafting it up, but, I mean, we're in full support as we spoke about during the week, yes.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
Excuse the customary thanks.
Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell.
Motion to grant further time on both pieces.
Motion made and seconded to grant further time on items number 7
Item number,
and 19.
item number 19, the proper motion would be to refer it to the special opioid, and the other one, you could grant further time.
Grant further time and then refer to opioid. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Item number 8 is a Ways and Means Committee report, an order sponsored by Council Anthony DePiero as president, transferring $75,000 from CIP stabilization to the Everett Police Department Technology Cruiser account with a recommendation for favorable action.
Favorable action.
Is there a motion to accept the committee report?
Make,
File.
Motion made and seconded to accept the committee report and favorable action on the order. First, all those in favor of accepting the report?
aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Please call the roll to pass the order, Mr. Clerk.
Counsel Capone.
Yes.
Counsel Delasola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counsel Hanlon.
Yes.
Counsel Matusky.
Yes.
Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counsel McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counsel Napolitano.
Yes.
Counsel Sani. Counsel Simonelli.
Yes.
Counsel DePiero.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
the order has passed. Item number 9, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 9 is an ordinance sponsored by Counsel John F. Hanlon, Committee of Ordinance and favorable recommendation from the Planning Board on an ordinance for new section 32 inclusionary zoning.
Mr. President,
Councilor Capone.
move we accept the committee report and lay on table to our next meeting.
Motion made and seconded to accept the committee report and lay on the table to our next meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We have laid it over to the next meeting.
Item number 11 is resolution sponsored by Counsel Matusky and Counsel McKinnon, City Assessor appear to provide info on former TIF agreement with Mellon Bank and their present real estate tax status and any land use agreements.
Councilor Matusky.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank Assessor Pam Davis for the information. I met with her last week. There was no employment agreement in this TIF agreement. There's over 1,500 employees there. We'll never probably know exactly how many, excuse me, Everett people are working there, but that's either here or there. There's no agreement on that. As far as the land use, we all got a report on that, and it was the worst deal the city of Everett ever got, in my opinion. But I'm going to keep an eye on TIF agreements in the future. This will be no sweetheart deals on TIF agreements for me. There'll be employment clauses, and any incentive that they get is going to benefit the taxpayers of this city. Mellon Bank got the best deal in their life. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. What's the pleasure on the piece?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to refer back to sponsor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution has been referred back to sponsor.
Okay, item number 12 is an ordinance sponsored by Counsel Capone and Counsel McLaughlin to add section 29, release of balloons enrolled. It is properly published and is now up for ordainment.
Favorable action.
Make a motion for Damon.
Motion made and seconded for ordainment. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Capone.
Yes.
Counsel Del Sola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counsel Hanlon.
Yes.
Counsel Matusky.
Yes.
Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counsel McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counsel Napolitano.
Yes.
Counsel Sani.
Yes.
Counsel Simonelli.
Yes.
Counsel DePiero.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
you have ordained. Item number 13.
Item number 13 is resolution sponsored by Counsel John Lee McKinney to invite Win Casino to our next meeting to give an update on the progress they're making on the site, to invite John Taco, Bob DeSalvo, and for them to bring any other staff they deem relative.
Can we refer this to the next meeting? You want, And invite
go to
these.
meet- Okay, well, this,
What was that, Counselor?
is this going to our regular meeting, or committee as a whole?
Regular. It'll be a regular meeting.
The motion on the floor is for a regular meeting, and that was second.
Just want to make sure we invite the proper individuals as well.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution sponsored by Council McLaughlin and Council Capone to invite the Lower Mr. Regional Group to discuss in depth the work they have been doing for the past year. Also invite Mayor Carla Di Maria, Community Development, City Engineer, and refer to the Committee of the Whole.
Councilor McLaughlin?
I'm sorry, I lost train of thought. I am very excited to have this group working on behalf of the Lower Broadway region in conjunction with Charlestown and Somerville. I know that they have a neighborhood meeting scheduled for March 13th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. here in the Kavarian Room, and I'm wondering if maybe we should actually have this at our next meeting, which would be the same night, for them to give an update at that time instead of a committee of the whole, seeing that they'll all be here in the building from that previous meeting in the Kavarian Room on the same evening. So I'm wondering if instead of changing this from committee of the whole, we just lay this over for 2 weeks and invite this group to come to the council meeting at that same time. This group is made up from Mass DOT and other folks that are working diligently for the past year on that whole area down there. And I think that it would be a great service to all of us to understand what's really going on down there as a whole. I know some of us can't make 5:30 meetings, it's kind of difficult. So I'd ask my colleagues what their wish is, but just to bring that point to their attention that they will be here in the building that evening. Thank you.
Councilor Napolitano?
Thank you. I think this is an important group. There's a lot of information. We were asking them to discuss in depth all the work that's been going on for the past year. We have 26 items of business just on tonight's agenda alone. I think scheduling on a regular scheduled council meeting is just going to plug up our agenda. Okay, other people that are here for other business are going to get tied up. Either they're going to wait or the group is going to wait. I think isolating it to a separate work group with the committee of the whole is the best way to go. Let's get our answers. That way they're not feeling we're pushed by anybody else who's sitting here waiting to address their business. So I would not be supporting this to go to our next committee meeting. I would think that I would prefer to see this go to our committee of the whole.
Mr. Chairman?
Councilor Hanlon?
I didn't get the, from Counselor, what time was they're gonna meet, aren't they?
They're going to be here on that evening of March 13th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. in the Kavarian Room for a community meeting. And that was my only thought of having them come down the hallway and talk with us. But I support my colleague at large's wishes to send us to committee of the whole is okay with me as well.
Councilor McKinnon?
You, Mr. President, and speaking with the clerk as well, we may want to actually entertain the thought of reconsideration on 13 and schedule both of those for that meeting there, if we could do that with the WIN group and also this group here. So if we could do that, that might be something feasible for a committee of the whole.
Okay, I believe we would have to recommend this piece first and
Sure.
then
Yeah,
go
Mr.
back
Chairman,
and
Mr.
revisit.
The point I'm trying to make is that they're meeting here. These people are meeting here. They're meeting here. We didn't call this meeting, they called the meeting. So are we telling them that they can't have their meeting, or they got to come to our meeting also? No. Separate, it's separate. They have to come to our meeting also.
Yeah, if we choose to do that. I think we're going to go.
Yes, right. Mr. Chairman, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. And these people, they don't need to come, right?
Well,
I
they're
mean, I
being,
just wanna-
they're being
I want everybody
invited.
to know, and why would they come? They're having their own meeting, and why would they want to come here? But, okay, I mean, just invite them, and I'm happy if they come. I'll be here, but I don't, I can't blame them if they're not going to be here, because they're having their meeting, and we're telling them we'll come to ours, so.
Thank you, Counselor. We do have a motion made and seconded to refer this to a committee of the whole. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Counselor McKinnon?
Motion to reconsider item number 13.
Second motion.
Motion made and seconded for reconsideration on item number 13.
Council Capone?
Yes.
Council Del Sol?
Yes.
Council Victoria?
Yes.
Council Hannon?
Yes.
Council McKinnon?
Yes.
Council McLaughlin?
Yes.
Council Napolitano?
Yes.
Council Sani?
Yes.
Council Spinelli?
Yes.
Council DePiero?
Yes.
Make a motion to refer it to the committee of the whole.
Second motion.
Motion made and seconded for referral to the committee on the whole. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The item has been referred to the committee on the whole.
Item number 15 is a resolution sponsored by Council Rosa DeFlorio and Mike McLaughlin. The mayor consider scheduling a Ward 5 neighborhood meeting to update and hear from residents on the renovations of the Swan Street Park.
if we could please refer this to the mayor's office and have him come up with a date. If he can, please have a neighborhood meeting. There were a lot of concerns that people want to speak about in regards to the construction going on Swan Street Park. And if you could please update us and have a meeting, we would appreciate it, so we could invite the people to come up. Thank you.
Would you like to include Mr. Souza on that as well, or just the administration?
Mr. Souza also, thank you.
Motion made and seconded to refer this to the mayor's office and Mr. Souza. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Before we read the next item, can some of the councilors turn their microphones off? There's some feedback in the room. Thank you.
Item number 16. Resolution sponsored by Council Rosa Floyer, Mayor as representative, consider appearing at the next Government Operations, Public Safety, Public Service Committee meeting to give an update on the new 311 calls.
Refer it to Public Safety and Public Service Committee.
Motion made and seconded to refer to Public Safety and Public Service and Government Operations. All those in favor? Opposed? The item has been referred.
Item number 17 is resolution sponsored by Councilor John Leo McKinnon to invite Wall Tech Consulting Group and City Engineer Julius Offery to the next meeting to produce the new roadway construction list and add Ashton and Cumberland Street to said list.
Invite to the next meeting?
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Item number 18, resolution sponsored by Councilor John Lee McKinnon relative to an update on the new clinician and recovery coaches.
Mr. President, we just put in a new clinician. She started, I believe, 2 weeks ago. Her name is Tori Cyrus, and it's been out in the papers, and it was done at the last opioid committee meeting. So we're looking forward to working with her any way we can help. We'll do that. And as well as now looking forward to the program coordinator coming on board as well with recovery coaches. So that's all part of the pieces of the puzzle that we need. And I think it should start coming along nicely now. Thank you.
Would you like to refer that piece to the Special Opioid Committee?
We already did it, so I'm going to refer back to sponsor. Thank you.
Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to refer item number 18 back to the sponsor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The item has been referred back to sponsor. Item number 20, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 20, resolution sponsored by Councilor John Leo McKinnon to increase police patrols at Walgreen and Glendale Package Store to stop loitering and harassment of patrons at those locations all hours of the day and night.
Refer this to Government Ops and invite the Chief of Police as well as the Walgreens and Glendale Package Store.
Motion made and seconded to refer item number 20 to Government Operations and invite the chief and chief of police and a representative from Walgreens and Glendale Package Store. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Item number 21, resolution sponsored by Councilor Anthony DePiero and the entire city council, chief of police, owners of Chuck E. Cheese appear at the next Government Ops meeting to discuss the recent string of incidents and potential steps moving forward in the interest of public safety.
Councilor McKinnon.
Refer this to the next Government Operations, invite the chief and the owners of Chuck E. Cheese to that
Second
meeting.
motion.
Managers, yeah.
Motion made and seconded to refer this to the next public safety meeting and invite the chief of police and a representative of management of the Chuck E. Cheese establishment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It has been referred.
Item number 22, resolution sponsored by Councilor John Leo McKinnon to invite Fire Chief Tony Conner to the next public safety meeting to discuss the predatory action of companies show up to fires and prey on owners of site while they are watching their homes burn. And also invite DPW Director Jerry Navarro and Steve Sapino to the meeting.
Councilor McKinnon.
Through you, Mr. President, to the council, I was watching a fire and there was a company that showed up and basically was telling the guy, here, sign this, do this, without, his insurance or anything like that. So that's why this piece is on here, and I wanted to go into committee. But, it's just predatory what they're doing out there, and I think we need to take a look at it. So if we can invite Chief Tony Colley, Jerry Navarro, and Steve Sapino to that meeting, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Motion made and seconded to refer this to public safety and invite those who are on the resolution. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Item number 23, resolution sponsored by Councilor Rosa DeFlorio, UCTV, consider having a talk show on public access channel where people can call in and ask questions.
Councilor DeFlorio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to refer this to ECTV. I don't know if this can be done where, if we're set up where people can actually call in and ask the questions. If not, I'd like to see if we could at least have somebody write the questions and we can answer them on ECTV. What I'm trying to do with this is, I like to spend time on an item, like right now, for example, this $1.3 million that has to go to the school. We all know it's education and it's needed. But some people out there may have further questions, and instead of sitting in a meeting for 3 or 4 hours, there's no reason why we, as counselors, can't go on this talk show and make a subject, even if it has to last 3 months or 4 months, and people have further questions. And, you know, I'd like to see something possible if this can be done. So I'm going to refer it to ECTV and have an answer back in 2 weeks. We could also ask, have the mayor's office.
If I can, from the chair, I do know that we do not have the capability to do live
I didn't
calls.
think so, I know.
And to broadcast it live, but,
Because we don't
certainly
have
the
the,
discussion
we're
about a
not
show like
able
that.
to delay what people say. So if they swear, we're not going to be able to cross that off. So that,
Counselor Hanlon?
yeah.
Right.
Microphone, Counselor, I apologize.
Okay, well.
You said.
John, I like it.
I just realized.
You know what I said.
I just realized it, sorry.
I'll repeat what you said.
Best speech I made in 2 years. And no one heard it, except for us.
If I may, Mr. President, the ECTV is working on a show for the city council. Things, for instance, that are on the agenda tonight that would probably be a great show instead of going to committee of the whole, for instance, the Wynn Casino one, even the Lower Mystic Regional Working Group. The sponsors would meet with the president and with the group, and it would all be televised. So instead of just seeing it once, as you know, on ECTV, they want programming, it'll be shown ad nauseum. I mean, it'll be shown, well, not ad nauseum, but a lot. It'll be, that's right.
Okay.
But they are working on that, and I believe it will be within the next month or so that they will indeed have a show. And I believe people will submit their ideas to the president, and then you'll all agree on a date to go there, and whatever issues you want to speak on, you'll be able to do it. And, you know, write it live on television, well, not live, but you'll be able to tape it. It'll be a good information thing for the people.
Motion
Yeah.
made and seconded to refer this item to ECTV. All those in, and the mayor's office, with an answer back in 2 weeks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 24.
Item number 24 is resolution sponsored by Peter Napolitano that Director of Public Works and Director of Water Department appear to explain what happened to all the fire hydrant snow flags installed 18 months ago to help locate hydrants during winter storms.
Counselor Napolitano?
Thank you. You know, it's interesting, it wasn't until that big heavy snowstorm we had earlier this month that I noticed that they're all gone. Every single flag. Now, granted, when these were first installed, a few of them were damaged, a few of the springs were bent out. But it wasn't until we started looking at the reason we put them up in the first place that I noticed that they're no longer there. Now, there was a lot of money spent. There were man-hours spent both in installing them and obviously in removing them. So I'd like to find out what's going on. I mean, I like a lot of us commute in other communities, and I still see their flags up. I mean, everybody seemed to jump on the bandwagon after the snowstorm in 2015. But now we have a mild winter last winter and no longer there. Now, there could be good reason for that. So I don't know that reason, and I haven't been able to find that out. But I would like to refer this to GovOps, Public Service, Public Safety, and invite the directors of Public Works, the director of the Water Department, and possibly the Mayor Chief of Staff to come and give us an explanation. If it's just temporary, better we know that, and if there's a good reason for it, also, better we know that.
Second motion.
Motion made and seconded to have the Director of Public Works and the Director of Water Department appear at our next meeting. Is that what it was, Council?
GovOps.
GovOps,
No,
I
GovOps.
apologize. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 25.
Item number 25, resolution sponsored by Council Peter Napolitano. Police chief has the morning patrols on Broadway, increase observation enforcement of vehicles violating the dedicated bus lane. We are receiving complaints of vehicles using the bus lane to bypass traffic.
Counsel Napolitano, I apologize.
That's okay, Mr. Chairman. Right, I don't know if anybody else has been noticing this, but I noticed this a couple of weeks ago during, on my way to work. You know, a few times, light traffic on Broadway, a couple of cars backed up. I saw a few cars bail down the coned bus path and then jump right back into traffic. Okay, first of all, the commuters that are in traffic that are being bypassed are now having to hit the brakes or make room to let somebody back in who's illegally cutting out the traffic. I know this started off as a pilot program. I know it's been getting some great exposure, and I'd really hate to see something negative occur on this program. You know, I just would ask that the chief, you know, maybe instruct the morning crew just to be a little more observant during those time frames, just in case. And we need to bag a few people to send a message that they're violating you know, this path. So I would like to refer this to the chief of police, and actually, I don't need a response back, you know, that'll be fine.
Motion made and seconded to refer item number 25 to the chief of police. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Final item, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 26, resolution sponsored by Council Anthony DePere, respectfully asking the chief financial officer to provide council with information regarding potential savings associated with paperless pay statements for municipal employees.
Memo, and I'll refer it to the next meeting.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to refer to our next meeting, asking the chief financial officer to provide us with those figures. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion
Second.
made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have adjourned.